All right, our guest, Amy Robbins, how are you?
Hey, guys. I'm doing fantastic. Just absolutely love coming on this show. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. Well, you are the CEO of Alexo Athletica. Tell us about Alexo Athletica.
Yeah, yes, I am. So our company we really were the first full athleisure line that catered to women, that gave them options to carry concealed weapons, including firearms, on the market.
Did you say athleisure?
Yeah, it's athleisure. A lot of people want to say it's just athletic wear, and no, we've expanded our line beyond simply having options for runners. We really started out as a line. I'm a runner. I wanted to make clothing for women runners because 80% of them had bad experiences on their run, and we've expanded our line from there to include everything from skirts and joggers and leggings and shorts and beyond. So it's really more athleisure wear.
I got you. So athleisure is
I think we're more athleisure guys, aren't we?
I'm strictly leisure, my friend. I should probably get a little more athlete in there. Those are the younger days, but athleisure. So that's like if you're wearing like comfortable clothes when you're doing stuff around the house, you're not necessarily CrossFit, or is that kind of the general idea of athleisure?
Well, it's really based on the performance wear, like fabrics that we use. So it's stuff that's stretchy and comfortable. And yes, you could work out in it, but then you could also go to work and dress up a lot of our pieces. So athleisure really has to do with like the fabrics that you use.
Or if you just want people to think
with your
that you work out. If you just want people to think you're an athlete, you can just wear athletic clothes.
Of course.
And then leisure around it.
That's the whole idea.
That's
the whole idea behind like that movement. So, yeah.
Back in my 20s, me and a buddy, we thought about we were going to just go buy a motorcycle helmet and just walk around with motorcycle helmets. just so we thought, well, you know what? Let's go to a bar with a motorcycle helmet. That might help. Talk to the girls. And then we were like, well, what are we going to do if they actually want to ride on the motorcycle? And I thought, all right, well, here's what we'll do. We'll just go find an empty parking place, walk them out to it, and go, oh my gosh, somebody stole my motorcycle.
No, the key is you only carry one helmet around. Can't bring you.
See Love that? To. Where were you when I was? Anyway, okay. So tell us more about your line. So it's all women, and it's all concealed carry, and mostly for, like you said, athleisure.
Yeah, well, all women right now, we're actually launching our men's line this fall. So you guys will get to move to not only leisure, but now you can be athleisure too and carry your firearm with you. So, yeah, the whole idea behind Alexo was just to give women options to carry self-defense tools on their body, but do it in a stylish way. Because when I got into this and I started the company back in 2015, there was nothing on the market really geared towards women that we didn't have to sacrifice the clothing that we were currently wearing. So there was really nothing fashionable. My background is in fashion and entertainment, and I didn't want to sacrifice any of that just to be able to keep myself protected.
So I don't see why women don't want to wear the fishing vests and stuff, just
photographer
vest.
There are more power to them. There's some great tactical gear out there that is extremely functional, but it really just didn't fit my lifestyle. And so I wanted to create something that many, many women that were trying to get into this space that they could relate to. And you know what? We seem to hit a chord with a lot of women, the everyday suburban women and young women, college-age women that just want to be more self-reliant in their life, and that starts by being able to carry self-defense tools with them.
Well, and Amy, I just looked at your site, and it looks to me like what you're trying to do is provide a service to a young lady or a middle-aged or older lady that can wear a certain garment and carry and not look like she's wearing or not like doesn't look like she's carrying. So that brings that comfort level in, that sophistication to where they know they don't have to worry. Nobody knows what I've got here, which adds to the value, I think.
Well, you're absolutely right. How many people are expecting if, a mass shooter walks into a shopping, like a grocery store, they're not expected to get dropped by a house mom, wearing yoga pants.
Well, exactly.
Yet.
And how many more would think twice if more women wearing yoga pants were carrying firearms,
I know exactly. There was an article or a video I had seen where up in Montana there's this restaurant and all the waitresses wear sidearms. and they've been doing it for years because I guess in Montana is, and so they were interviewing the patrons. And they say, "You kidding? This is the safest restaurant in town. You're not going to get any safer."
Right.
Because all the girls had to have training, and they all had to practice on a regular basis. And you wouldn't believe some of the firearms that they were carrying.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
That's a fact.
I love, and I bet it reduced the harassing cat calls too for some of these waitresses. I would imagine.
So you said something interesting here about 2 minutes ago. You said 80% of women who jog report that they've had some kind of incident. Talk a little bit about that. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, that actually was according to the latest Runner's World poll that they did. When I started the research back in 2014-15, it was at about, I think, like 70%. So it jumped up in the last year to 80%. So that includes what they included within that was just women that felt like their safety was threatened. So whether they were followed, they had those harassing cat calls or comments, all the way up to actual assault and murder. So they kind of lumped all of that together. And when you think about that number, because 50% of the population of women choose to run and walk as their daily form of exercise. So that's a large amount of women that have experienced some uncomfortableness while they're running. And yet at the same time, nobody was doing anything about it. You know, when you look at these big name athletic companies, they're not making it their mission to empower women to stay safe when they're exercising. They push messages of empowerment in a lot of different ways, but we really wanted to push a completely different message of empowerment, and that empowerment comes by being self-reliant. And, you know, self-reliance really comes down to having a strong mind where you're situationally aware and ready to use a self-defense tool, but also a strong body and a strong set of skills. So those are all things that really we want to encompass as a company and just promote within the community of these women that are wearing Alexo.
You know, I hope everybody listening, I hope especially the guys listening really paid attention to that, because it's something that has really, it's something I've talked about it on the show before. It's something I've learned from my wife and the women I work with, that women live in a completely, totally different world than men do. And it's no matter how often I relearn that, it's just really striking to me. I mean, there was a time, probably you're not gonna be able to, Joe and Dave are about to laugh when I say this, but there was a time in my life when, I don't know, a good 15 years when I was jogging just about every single day. I was out there outside jogging for miles and miles. Dave's shooting Joe a look. Come on now.
We all went through that.
It was a lot. Yeah.
We all went through
We all went through that horrible phase.
Ours only lasted a day or two.
But I mean, I went a lot of places. I lived in, this was in Florida and Hawaii and San Francisco and San Diego. And I can't recall a single time I felt even kind of in danger or threatened or worried or anything like that. And now you're telling me that women, 70-80% of them are saying that, yeah, at some point they were, either worried or all the way up to murdered. And that is insane to think about.
Insane. I spoke this weekend at the Turning Point YWLS. It was the Young Women's Leadership Summit about gun rights are women's rights. And I just had a line, and these girls are ranging from high school to like late 20s. And I had a line of women, one after the other, come up to me and tell me, thank you so much for creating this line. I'm a long distance runner. I have been followed numerous times on my run. I was scared to death. That's what led me to go get my license to carry. I mean, it was one after the other. And I was like, I totally relate to you, because that exact same thing happened to me. And that's why I started this company. And so to hear the stories of these young women, of what's happening to them on college campuses or just when they're out running, it's just insane and so eye-opening that we have to deal with things that men don't have to deal with.
Well, I like it. I've seen a lot of your products. I haven't seen your men's line yet, but I actually recently, we just did a segment about it, I think last week or the week prior, just changed from a inside the waistband holster to, in effect, what it is a compression shirt with a holster. I switched to that. It's an undershirt, like a compression undershirt with a holster.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Which is kind of similar to what it's kind of similar to your products. Not the same manufacturer, but similar to what I'm trying to say is I really like it. This trend towards concealed carry garments, I guess. Is that what? Sure. Is that the name? Is there a genre name for what you make? Or
Well, like the compression concealed carry garments, I've seen companies that are doing that. It's kind of around the same idea. I mean, we really kind of gear our stuff more towards those like that live the active lifestyle. Yeah. So, a lot of our stuff right now is just built into the bottoms. So the shorts, the leggings, the joggers, and the skirts. We haven't really moved into the tops and jackets as much as just created pieces that, it's hard not to print when you're wearing tight clothing. And so we needed to design tops and jackets and layers that actually help without making every single piece be so concealed carry heavy.
And that's the point I wanted to get across, Amy, is that your products, it's not just another holster. Your products are garments. They're clothing that incorporate the holster in so that women can, especially women, can more easily carry, which is something my wife got her CCW. It's something that she's working on. Right. It's extremely important. But
so let's do this. Amy, can you hang with us? We'll bring you on the next segment. We'll finish this up.
Well,
Blackhound optics are amazing. They're accurate, affordable, guaranteed, sporting optics that go the distance. And they're backed by customer service that goes even farther. Great guys, great products, and a great company that is making optics affordable. On top of quality optics, they pay close attention to the customer experience. And did you know their scopes come with mounts? So you don't have to worry about finding one that fits yours. So we were very excited to have them as an official partner of the show, and ask for them at your local gun store or find them online at blackhoundsoptics.com. All right, we're going to bring back Amy Robbins. And Amy, give us your website one more time.
Sure. It's alexoathletica.com. That is Alex with an O, athletic with an A.com.
Gotcha. Excellent. And you make a line of clothing for women. You're going to unroll, present
unpack
a whole new line for men, it sounds like, and we're looking forward to it. But your background is in entertainment, right?
It is, yeah. So, I mean, I grew up always wanting to be in broadcast, TV hosting, some form of the entertainment industry. I started modeling, when I was in high school. So, I mean, I would like to say that was only 5 years ago, but, I've been in the industry for quite a long time.
Wow. Okay, so talk a little bit about that. So you actually have done some hosting and that sort of thing?
Yeah, it was really interesting. So the first TV hosting job, so I was really focusing more doing modeling. I was acting, producing, writing. I had done a couple of reality shows that never made it to TV, but they got picked up, which was kind of cool. And I actually even had a talent management company at one point in time. And it was weird because, so many people that face the entertainment industry now, there's a very clear assault on conservative values. And it was kind of like that when I was in the industry, but not as much. And then when I got cast to host a show when the NRA was building a platform called NRA TV, that was the first time in my career with entertainment that I felt like I finally could speak up for what I believed in when it came to the Second Amendment, when it came to other values that I believed in. And that was really what kind of set me on this trajectory for being a Second Amendment advocate, and then continuing to find work within the industry where I could do that and just completely be myself and be open about all the things that I believe in.
So being a model and wanting to go into entertainment, how did the Second Amendment find you? How did that happen?
Well, it actually all happened. So, I mean, I grew up in a small town in Texas, so firearms are always a part of our life and always a part of our family. So I like to say, I always believed in the Second Amendment, but wasn't really vocal about it until I got cast to host a noir show with Poignant Noir on NRA TV. Mm-hmm. And that was really where I started to do a deep dive about like the foundation of the Second Amendment and really where its roots came from and how that applies to the Constitution as a whole. And it really changed my entire mindset about firearms too, because I didn't really know anything about guns when I started out. And being on that show, I got a lot of great training. I was able to just find out how to be extremely safe and responsible with them. And that's what set me down this path of even thinking about a concealed carry activewear line, but beyond that, just being an advocate for the Second Amendment and everything that I do moving forward.
Well, and and I jokingly say, you said you grew up in Texas, and I jokingly said, oh, that explains it. But the reality is, Sheila Jackson Lee is from Texas. Beto O'Rourke is from Texas. So I mean, this isn't, people, the fight's all over the place. Ignorance can be found in any of the 50 states, and it's up to us to, educate and resist. Frankly, so
absolutely, because it's definitely becoming a big fight in Texas. I mean, thankfully, it looks like constitutional carry is going to get passed. It's sitting on Governor Abbott's desk. I don't know what the holdup is, but that's just the next step to get that passed. And I mean, it's been a big fight here. So it's not like our rights are just protected just because we're in Texas. We really are in the fight for our life right now.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times people have said, "Oh, well, that's Austin." They blame it all on Austin. You're talking about Austin. You're talking about downtown Dallas. And I'm going, okay, well, newsflash, Austin is in Texas. I don't know if you realize this or not.
Well, and not only that, how many people have left California and come to Texas?
Yep, and we keep saying that. I'm like, I wish there was some kind of law on the books that said if you move here from a state that was blue, you got to live here like 10 years before you
can vote
in our elections.
So you spend most of your time in Texas still?
Yeah, and
so,
we do. We still live in Texas.
And have you really seen an influx of former Californians headed your way? Is that something you?
Oh yeah, absolutely, and especially in the area that I'm in, they've got big major corporations that have moved in right into this area, and the influx is just insane. The housing market's insane. I don't know if y'all paid attention to Texas elections, but like the Senate races were super close. I mean, it's not a foregone conclusion anymore that Texas is going to vote red.
Nope. Yeah, I've actually seen Democrat, even if they vote red, I got to look. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Republican, and I'm certainly not a huge. The Republicans are the second worst party when it comes to the Second Amendment, in my opinion.
I agree.
So, but Democrats are absolutely targeting Texas. They've lost in Florida a couple of times now, and have decided, you know what? I think we got a better chance in Texas. So, what you're saying is absolutely factual. Although I know a lot of people that have moved from California to Texas because they're conservative, so it was confusing to me when I hear from people in other states who say, hey, we don't want your California voting record to follow you here in Texas. And I'd say, well, gee, you don't understand. First off, I think they should stay put and they should help us fight here in California, but they're moving because they're conservative. But what I'm realizing is there are a lot of large companies that have hundreds or even thousands of employees who move from California to Texas and take all their employees with them. The
good and the bad.
And those employees are the ones that are voting,
right?
Not in ways that are historically Texan, I guess. Is that kind of what you're seeing as well?
We are, but surprisingly, with the Senate race between Beto and Cruz, I believe, we all thought that it was so close because of all the people that moved into California. When we looked at the statistics, it was actually the race was so close because of people that had lived in Texas for so long. So we're actually starting to see this shift, and I think that's what was a lot scarier to a lot of Texas. Now, they only had like 11% of the population actually show up to vote in that Senate race, but it does show you that we can't just blame it on all these people that are moving in from other states, but we've got to get very proactive. And, I talk about that a lot with people within Second Amendment advocacy, because you're right. Republicans have been just as bad on the Second Amendment as Democrats have in a lot of ways.
You're speaking my language, Amy. I'm getting all excited.
You know what? Hey, I'm still in shock that only 11% of Texas voted after what we've been going through.
I know.
Wouldn't that be something you'd mark on your calendar?
No.
Jeez.
You would think, but they just don't pay attention to. And that was a big race. Beto versus Cruz was a big race.
Who won?
It was way too close for comfort. And so, Cruz won, but not by as much as he should have won by.
Against Beto.
That's scary. So what do you do? So when you talk about Second Amendment activism, we've got to get engaged, we've got to get involved. What does that actually mean? When the rubber meets the road, what types of things are you encouraging and doing, Amy?
Well, right now, Gun Owners of America has been extremely involved with getting this constitutional carry passed. And so I call my congressmen, I call my senators, I call my the people that are in the Texas House and let my voice be heard. And this was probably the first time that I really started like encouraging people and getting on the phone and calling all of my friends. And all of them are like, whoa, okay. You know, I haven't even really been paying attention. I don't know what's going on. Like, no, you have to pay attention to what's going on, because right now there is an all-out assault, not just on the Second Amendment. I feel like on so many other things. But if we lose our Second Amendment, that is the first thing that is going to mean we're going to lose all the other stuff, because that's what defends all of our other rights.
That's right.
And so I just encourage people, if they've never gotten on the phone and called, you know, their congressmen and women about a bill, to get on the phone and first educate themselves about even what constitutional carry means, but get on the phone, because there's so many gun owners that vote Republican, Libertarian, and Democrat. You know, they're all over the map, but if they can all join together, there's power in numbers here that sends a very strong message to the politicians.
So we just did this movie. We showed this movie. We had the director come out, Amanda Milius, and the movie's called The Plot Against the President. We're going to talk a little bit more about it in the show. But the big thing, it had to do with Russiagate, and there was a lot of discussion about narratives, false narratives pushed by Hollywood.
Yep.
And you being in the you know, entertainment field, you know, starting out your career there, how do we combat that? You know, how do we combat the false narratives pushed by Hollywood?
I get asked that all the time, and the only thing to me that has ever worked when I'm talking to somebody that is completely against firearms, or someone that tells me that they can't believe that, you know, I'm a Christian and I support firearms because I support killing children. You know, that's what I hear all the time. A lot of it is driven in fear and these misguided notions about what firearms do, how unsafe they are, because they've never shot them before. And so for me, it's really about education and trying to get as many people out to the range that I can to put a firearm in their hand, to do it in a safe and responsible way. And I've seen a lot of people's mindset shift when they actually go out and shoot. Now, are we going to be able to do that to every single person in Hollywood? Probably not. But education is really the best way to combat a lot of this.
I agree. So what? So talk about the rollout for your new line. What's the plan, and then what do you have in your future as far as Second Amendment related?
Yeah. So the plan right now, I mean, gosh, COVID really threw a wrench in everything with manufacturing and distribution. So we're playing catch up right now on the time that it's taking to get everything here. So our plan is to launch the men's line in the fall. And then we also are doing a collaboration with Springfield Armory, and that's going to be on our website as well. That's going to be introduced late fall. We're super excited about that. And then so that's what's going on with Alexo. And for me, I host a show for U.S. Law Shield. It's a super comprehensive show that focuses on the law and the Second Amendment. And so you got to be a U.S. Law Shield member to watch that. But that is a show that I'm hosting pretty regularly right now. That's
cool. U.S. Law Shield has a great product. We've done a lot with them. In fact, the rep from California, this guy named Frank. If you run into Frank, he just moved your way to Texas to take over a section there. He works for U.S. Law Shield. Great guy.
Awesome. Yeah, I love it because, I mean, even if, you know, the insurance part is great, but what I love is the access to the attorneys, the 365-day access to the attorneys. That, I mean, there's so many different laws, and it varies from state to state. I know you guys talk a lot about this, too, and y'all have some great resources for it. But, I mean, you are held responsible for knowing the law in your state. And when you travel, if you're going to travel with your firearm, and I just can't imagine not having somebody to talk to and get clarification on those rules if I didn't have this.
Exactly. So AlexoAthletica.com, Alex with an O, athletic with an A.com. Thank you so much, Amy Robbins.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for watching this clip from Gun Owners Radio. You can watch us live every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. California time, right here on our YouTube channel, or if you're in the San Diego area, you can listen to us on 1170 a.m. We're also available on your favorite podcast platform for free. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can help restore and protect the Second Amendment, not just in California, but across the country.